mountain. Water from the earth. I want to be upon that mountain. Waters of the earth cascade round the rocks and down again. Waters of the earth. A dream to lie out in green pastures, rolling fields and hills, blue sky, mountain, laughing river, rolling fields and hills, tall tree rise and rocky cliff, sky brilliant blue, cloudless deep and starry sleep, sky brilliant blue. Hear me sing and hear me call in sky brilliant blue. Lady in her song is flying, sky brilliant blue. This sweet earth wide shall be my guide. This sweet earth wide shall be my guide. Big shout out to the Underground Recording Studio in Randolph, Vermont for having me. My name is Melanie Blackbird Sroka, and I'm very happy to be here. That song, I have to say, is dedicated to my mentor on flute, which would be William Waterway, also known William Marks, Martha's Vineyard, may he rest in peace, and glorious waves and music. And yeah, water. Sacred life would not exist without it. A big shout out to my friend Marjorie Ryerson. You see, the photos that you're seeing behind me are my photos, except for the one that's just the close-up of water. And my friend Marjorie has a water project, and it's just gorgeous. And so yeah, I'm going to play you some original music. That was called Waterfalls, and was written here in Vermont, actually about the waterfall in Warren. Actually, there's a few of them. I can't say it's just one. Warren Falls, and just a number of beautiful, beautiful waterfalls. So thank you for letting me be here, guys. If you think you're hearing two of me, fear not. You're not going crazy. I'm playing with a vocal pedal. It's a harmonizer pedal. This is called Wistful. Softly sigh song takes me on its journey, and dreams I float along. I'm wistful and I'm dancing as I walk alone. Take me with you, river, till I wake and dream no more. My life is just a journey I weave into my songs. Take me with you, river, I wanna sing along. Full moons carry music on the wind, and I'm wild like the wind, like the wind, like the wind. Full moons carry music on the wind, and I'm wild like the wind, like the wind, like the wind. Moonbeams reflected on waters are shimmering. Slices of icicle sparkle, and I'm shivering. All the magic of this moment is fleeting, but so worth remembering. Full moons carry music on the wind, and I'm wild like the wind, like the wind, like the wind. Full moons carry music on the wind, and I'm wild like the wind, like the wind, like the wind. Take me with you, river, till I wake and dream no more. My life is just a journey I weave into my songs. Take me with you, river, I want to sing along. Full moons carry music on the wind, and I'm wild like the wind, like the wind, like the wind. Yeah, full moons carry music on the wind, and I'm wild like the wind, like the wind, like the wind. Take me with you, river, till I wake and dream no more. Thank you. That was the first song that I wrote when I moved here to Vermont, and it just feels perfect to start my guitar songs with it. I lived on the island of Martha's Vineyard for many years, from Western Mass originally. I give credit to Springfield. And there's nothing like the ocean waves falling at your feet, no matter what time of year it is. And there's nothing like nature that heals us in these times of struggle that we go through. If you can take time to go out in nature, respect and honor it, it gives that love and respect back to you in healing, peace of mind, relaxation, inspiration in your heart, the beauty of the clouds, the green earth, the sparkling snow. And this song is about the waves splashing to the shore in a gentle way that made it look like lace. Just gotta change keys. sand, splashing, dancing, ever laughing, rocking back and forth. Seaweed, sunblaze, sun god, sacred land, wind tossed, salt glass, tides upon the shore. Shell speck of footprints, ocean, sand, and skies, shining bright, gray, blue, green waters, the clouds are flowing by. A dream in peace, we pray to keep ocean, sand, and skies. Live in peace, sweet heaven is this earth, all shining with the light. So cover me in ocean's lace, my sorrows cleanse and healing grace. Tell me, transform me with your love. Bring me ever closer to the ones I'm dreaming of. Gulls cry, shells crack, winds whisper in my ears. A moment lost, a moment found. Come kiss me, my dear. The strong children with ancient eyes looking to the sea. The singing songs the spirits sing, 'cause singing sets them free. Cover me in ocean's lace, my sorrows cleanse and healing grace. Turn me, transform me with your love. Bring me ever closer to the ones I'm dreaming of. Oceans lace upon the sand, splashing, dancing, never laughing, rocking back and forth. Seaweed, sunblessed, sun god, sacred land, wind tossed, salt lost, tides upon the shore. Transform me with your love. Bring me ever closer to the ones I'm thinking of. Thank you. It's a perfect time to transition to the keys. I hope you're doing all right, everybody. I hope that you're finding ways through this, through the hard times that we've been having lately, finding peace, of finding joy, of making the little things count. I know I'm trying. Not always succeeding. So picky, I have it one way, and then I'm like, no, the other way. This song is called Sailor's Lullaby. And although I see we're in the fields of Randolph, Vermont right now in the fall, there we go. This is perfect. There's Marjorie Ryerson's beautiful photo of water. I just love it. Look at this. Anyway, this is called Sailor's Lullaby, and I wrote it on a sunfish on Martha's Vineyard Island in one of the harbors on the most beautiful day where the light was shimmering off the water and they looked like diamonds. Let me sing you a sea song, holy, as the waves roll and rock you to sleep. Let me sail to your heart for forever, as we stroll across the water so deep. See 'em dancing on the water, dancing on the wind, with my sail flying high in the splendor of the ecstasy that I'm in, of the ecstasy that I'm in. There's diamonds on the water, cotton candy clouds in the sky. It's just an azul blue creation. Live my spirit as I fly. Should I like a ribbon sailor's lullaby. Fills my heart as I look to the blue sky. Fills my heart as I'm running with you. Feels so good to be living so fully. Loving life as a blessing for two. No, this life ain't trying to pull you asunder. Life it try to pull you down. Every earth has its rain and its thunder, and everyone bends and quakes at the sound. We all bend and quake at the sound. But there's diamonds on the water, cotton candy clouds in the sky. It's just another blue creation. Fills my spirit as I ride. Shoreline like a river rolling. Smooth waves, they like to bump and grind. Strong winds, they're moving and they're flowing. It's a sailor's lullaby. Diamonds on the water, cotton candy clouds in the skies. It's just another creation. Fills my spirit as I fly. Shoreline like a river rolling. Smooth waves, they bump and grind. Strong winds, they moving and they flowing. That's the sailor's lullaby. Lullaby. La 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 It was a little bit funky. Unicorn drink.
With the unicorn voice.
Unicorns. Oh, blue skies, I love it. What am I going to play for you? Light that shines from love's eyes is the sweetest light I've ever seen in this life. Sweet light must be the light of the sun shining on the waters, just a symbol of the sweetest love that ever was or will be. I'm just searching for wisdom. I'm just searching for peace. Oh, sweetest love that ever was or ever will be. Loved a beautiful island man. We made castles in the sand. Always loved to hold my hand. I loved my beautiful island man. He, the stars, and I, dancing in lovers' rhythmic flight. Never was a love so right. He tied locks in my hair, dreadlocks in my hair. I had a love across the waters. I had a love across the sea. I had a love across the waters. He wanted to marry, but he lived in a place that's hard to go, and his letters slowly stopped their flow. Whatever happened, I do not know, but life goes on. Beautiful life goes on. I had a love across the waters. I had a love across the sea. I had a love across the waters. He wanted to marry. Light that shines from love's eyes is the sweetest light I've ever seen in this life. Thank you. Oh, goodness. My puppies are everywhere. Thanks for being here, everybody. So I haven't played this one for a little bit, and I kind of worked some verses. Moving right along. So this one goes out to all those people who put their lives on the line, who stand up against ignorance and greed, and they stand up for the voiceless, the creatures of the earth, the trees, the plants, all fighting for a healthier place on this planet for you and me, and especially for my friend Carol Vandal, $10,000 for Standing Rock. When I grow up, I want to be an archaeologist. When I grow digging the ruins of civilizations that didn't last. Climb the Aztec pyramids of the moon and the sun. Laid on the sacrificial altar, baby, I thought I was one. But now I'm grown and I just can't help but see so much of our world's been polluted by humanity. I know I may seem a silly girl to want to protect the health, the whole wide world, but my heart, you know, it speaks to me. Sing of love, hope, and unity. When I grow up, I want to be an environmentalist. around. When people of the future start to dig around, it's time to worry about what goes in the ground. We can't keep poisoning ourselves this way. Our carbon footprint's growing every day. It's time we found a better way. We've got to clean up all our mess, you see, mess, you see. Protect each water of earth, it's our responsibility. Protect each waterway and riverbed, riverbed. Let's go organic and begin again. When I grow up, I want to be an environmentalist, that I might make a difference. Despite the greed of all humanity, the dog-eat-dog of our society. I know I may be a silly girl to wanna protect the health, the whole wide world. But my heart, you know, it speaks to me to sing of love, hope, and unity. Oh. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Fun. So, we got to take care of each other, because it's not going to get any better, folks. We need a Green New Deal. We need a brighter day for our youth, that they have a world that they can look forward to, water that they can swim in with their mouth open, animals that they can see in the wild, skies that are clear for the stars. And we have the hard times, and we got to take care of each other and remember that after the storm comes the rainbow. After the storm comes a rainbow, chasing the dark clouds away. The light that is felt is a healing light, bringing a brand new day. White clouds come dancing in brilliant blue skies, caressing the wondrous light. Myriad colors are flashing my eyes, blessing this angelic sight. But take these broken wings and bend them to fly. For my heart is opening to the joy of life's earthly flight. The white clouds come dancing with brilliant blue skies, caressing the wondrous light. Myriad colors are splashing my eyes, blessing the beautiful sight. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But take these broken storm comes a rainbow. After the storm comes a rainbow, chasing the dark clouds away, chasing the dark clouds away. The light that is felt is a healing light. Light that is felt is a healing light, bringing a brand new day. It's so nice, gosh, to go inward and to remember our own words, our own dreams. You know, hard times can be a moment that we slow down and we go within ourselves and we work on the things that we struggle with. We have to be strong inwardly to stand strong in this day. So take care of yourself. Give yourself patience. Give yourself kindness. And the same thing for your loved ones. Ooh, fun. That explains a lot. Okay. Anyway, water, ocean, music, stories, dreams. This next song is called Siren Song. I guess I'm a mermaid at heart, and a siren is just a singing mermaid, really. So. Come to me, this darling daughter. Come to me, sweet sailor boy. To sweet love and ever after, in sweet ecstasy of heaven's joy. Look not to the sparkling waters. Look not to the rocky shore. Am I not your darling ever? Hold me close forevermore. Yes, my sweet, I hold the answers. Yes, my sweet, no pain you feel. Come with me to untold stories. Never again sail the key. Hold me till the streams come faster. Hold me till the stars come bright. Let this love be guide and compass till the dawn. Sweet kiss goodnight. Yes, my sweet, I hold the answers. Yes, my sweet, no pain you feel. Come with me to untold stories. There again, sail the key. Oh, splendor. Think not on the storm or cold. Think not on the crashing thunder. Think not on brothers in arms. Think not on your toil and your plunder. Just think on your lady's charms. 'Cause yes, my sweet, I hold the answers. Yes, my sweet, oh, pain you feel. Come with me to untold stories. Then again, the sailor key. Then again, the sailor key. Then again, sailor key. There the sailor key. There again, sailor key. Sailor key. The sailor key. Oy, oy, oy. So much. Thank you guys for having me so much. Underground recording studio. I'm just so excited. Vincent's been awesome. Just a great time all around. How are we doing time-wise?
Do another song or two.
Great. All right. So, go along with my water and Vermont. This song's called Covered Bridge. Nobody knows where I'm feeling. Nobody knows. Nobody knows where I'm feeling. Hold me tight and hold me close. I need you to take the pain away. Where we end up, I don't really know. I just gotta make it to a brighter day. Pull me tight and pull me close. I need you to take the pain away. Where we end up, I don't really know. I just gotta make it to a brighter day. We all need a brighter day. Nobody knows. Whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dipping my feet in the water. Dipping my feet, in the water. Come on, man. Dipping my feet, yeah, into the water. My feet, they're so happy in the water. There's a covered bridge down the lane. I stopped to watch the river there. She helps me dream at the end of the day as I sing my love songs and take away the care. 'Cause nobody knows where I'm feeling. Nobody knows. Nobody knows where I'm feeling. Nobody, nobody knows. Nobody, nobody knows. But nobody knows. Nobody, nobody knows. Nobody knows, nobody knows, nobody knows, nobody knows, hey, 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 hey. Nobody knows, nobody knows.
Good evening, folks. My name is Jamie Gage. I'm here at the Underground Studios in Randolph, Vermont. On November 19th, 2020, we are COVID ready, wearing masks here. And I am here after a live performance, great performance, with Melanie Blackbird Sroka here in studio. How are you doing, Melanie? Thank you for that performance.
Guys. I guess I should probably talk into the mic because we're muffled now. I'm great. Enjoyed just playing original music today, songs that I've written in the last few years. So
Excellent.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it was a great performance. A lot of different instruments you play. You started with a flute, went to guitar, back to keyboard, back to guitar. Beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful performance and wide-ranging. You focused a whole lot on the environment and on water. And I want to ask, where did that all start for you?
Oh, Well, I grew up as a little girl going to my family's camp on the border of Rhode Island and Connecticut. And it was a beautiful lake with not that many houses. And my favorite thing was swimming with the eastern painted turtles. I would snorkel. And not only that, but giant snapping turtles. And I mean, you grow up to a place, and it was just like 3 weeks in the summer. It was a summer vacation, and I learned to swim, and I learned to sail little sunfish, and it was very idyllic. And we had a raft. You jump off the raft, but the geese would come, and they were beautiful. The sound of them flying on the waters. Sometimes the storms would come, and you'd stand on the rock dock, and then the rains would come across the lake. I mean, if you've ever experienced this, a rain cloud coming at you, it really is a magnificent feeling. And to say that it touched my heart in an early way is almost cliche, but it did.
Yeah, it sounds it. Water's pervasive and primary theme throughout all of your music. It sounds like if there could be a more idyllic on Golden Pond, that kind of would be. That would kind of be it. You were originally from Western Massachusetts, so you dropped down to camp on the border of Connecticut and Rhode Island.
Yes.
And where in Western Massachusetts did you grow up?
Springfield.
Yep.
I was born in Springfield, so a lot of great Theodore blues clubs down there. I've not too recently, but before COVID, had a wonderful jam session. Some musicians there, but I went to Westfield State College, and it was awesome. Holyoke community as well. I did kind of put myself through school, and I'm a music teacher, and I work with children. I've sung with kindergarten through elderly and the Alzheimer's people that I've worked with were the most inspiring people. Just there's something when you see the magic that music can bring, and reaching someone who cannot speak and can barely move, but you sing a song from their youth, and then they come alive and they're singing. I've seen the beauty that, and the magic that music brings. And so, that's what it's about. Being inspired by life and creating songs.
Yeah. The Alzheimer's theme and memory and music. I just pause there for a second because you bring something up that I think is really important as far as aging goes and memory and what matters.
Yes.
You found the environment young, being a huge influence on you. When did you start? How early were you when you started performing, playing music? Or playing music first and then performing, I would assume. Although it may have been reverse order, I don't know.
Well, I really couldn't get away from it. So both of my parents were musicians, teachers. My mother was an elementary music teacher, and my father was a big band jazz drummer who had been playing out gigs since he was 13. They split when I was 3 and divorced. And then my mother married a really talented opera singer, and my father married a really talented jazz singer, Broadway singer. And so I grew up with my mom and my stepfather, but my dad were friends. So I got all of it, classical and jazz. And like when I was growing up through high school, like every year, or actually twice a year, I would participate in Commonwealth Opera, Project Opera's performances, either as a kid in the chorus, and I mean big productions like makeup and huge staging. We did some stuff at the UMass Amherst stage, Hansel and Gretel. This is the season that we would have that. I did that a couple times when I was a child as a children's chorus. And my stepfather was always the lead in the opera, so he'd do Pagliacci or Faust, then into some of the musicals, Showboat, Carnival, Rodgers and Hammerstein touched me early.
It jumps right into the basic question about influences. You've got all kinds with all the different...
So I grew up in the house of classical music. And so I started with my beautiful teacher, Mina Hizan. Love you, Mina. With classical, although I wasn't that great of a student. I loved doing everything. And that's part of who I am. I love the outdoors. I love, sports and adventures. And then I love music. And so I grew up in the classical house, and my mom was like, play something classical, play something classical. My stepfather, God love him, rest his soul, but he stole my drumsticks that my dad gave me because he gave me a drum set. So I ended up doing more hand drumming. Anyway, it really, as much as I love classical music too, I can get into it. You have to rebel a little bit. So my mom's side being classical music and my dad's side being jazz, my rebellion was more like world music. So world music, percussion. I actually did spend some time in Cuba with a women's world music band that I played with Gaia Roots out in Western Mass, and we studied hand drumming and salsa, dance, and it was incredible experience. And kind of connect with the African diaspora and the beauty of people of our world and the music that comes from these cultures. And I also spent some time, there's a wonderful percussionist when I was in school out there, Tony Vaca, helped doing booking in his office, but got to meet some of these world musicians, Oliver Mutagutsi from Zimbabwe, and the backup singers, and like being inspired is so easy when you get out of the box of your just normal day, because you travel. I love to travel and meet different peoples of different cultures. I mean, those are the flowers of the earth, right? People are the flowers of the earth, and there's so many beautiful shades and colors, and it's just beautiful. And, I'll never forget this one time I was working for a little project called the Rhythm Magazine, and I had driven the singers of Zimbabwe singers, Oliver Mutagutsi, and we did a song share. And Mwendi was one of the singers, and we just hit it off. I took him shopping and everything, and we traded some songs. And she taught me the most beautiful thing, and it was like, see if I can remember it. Pole pole muse, pole pole muse. Pole pole muse wake fua kinyata lampa kakinya kinyata lampa kakinya kinyata lampa kakinya wake fua ay mama pole pole wake fua. And these experiences, I'll never forget this woman, and I'll probably never see her again. But she taught me this song, and it's with me forever. And she's like, this song my father used to teach to me. And she didn't know the exact translation. But, because in Zimbabwe, like many parts of Africa, different countries had conquered, like the English and the French, and they colonized. But the beauty of the ancient languages, which I don't even know what tribe it is, but I find that fascinating about people and culture. It's It's just amazing. On the vineyard when I lived there, I hung out with some folks of the Wampanoag tribe.
Right.
And
you did a fundraiser as well, right?
I did a fundraiser for Standing Rock, but I'll never forget, and I find it fascinating. There's one woman from the tribe, Jessie Littledoe, who has been studying the Wampanoag language and bringing it back and teaching the children. And I just find language and people so amazing.
Well, and a lot of the experiences you just charted indicate to me this idea that I always go with as far as arts go. Music to me seems to be the one bridge, and you appreciate that you have a song called Covered Bridge, which has metaphorical possibilities I want to ask about as well. But just this idea that music is the universal language. Right. I mean, has it helped you bridge understanding with different cultures? I think of it as a teacher who's struggling in a world where we've been defunding arts and music in our schools like there's no tomorrow. Right.
And here we are in this cult of, I'll have to say, ignorance in our nation, where we literally have Nazis marching in the United States. Yeah. We have had that. This is what we've seen in this last year. We got to stop cutting the arts and the music, and we have to start educating our children about how to live together in this world. And as a musician, I've always been fascinated by the beauty of what is our nature, the melting pot of this country. This is what it means to be proud to be American, to love the music of Dixieland jazz that would not be if it wasn't for the African people in this country. All right. The native flute that I play, the native peoples of this country have been forgotten for so long. I just found out the kids in school do not even know about the Cherokee Trail of Tears. This is not right. We need to go, teachers have been choked and told what to teach over and over again. And I don't believe that it's doing us good to do just this and just that. Like, we need to teach how to be kind, how to live together in this world. And I know we're definitely doing it. I don't mean to sound so stark, but this, if anything, this past few years have shown us is that we have a long way to go to treat the people on in this country, never mind the planet, treat these people with love and respect and kindness that they deserve. And it takes education, educating people about other people and empathy. It's like, oh, well, I didn't treat them back. Well, you need to respect history. And only by studying and learning about the hardships do we respect and honor each other. So music is a way to do that. Music bridges those gaps. And I can't help but be inspired to try to do something. I'm so tired of the glitz and the glam. That's why that song, Sailor's Lullaby.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because
I've got diamonds on the water, right?
and it wasn't so much a lullaby, but it was pretty funky, right? And then you referenced it as being funky at the end. I really dug into that song.
The picture that's behind us right now is a perfect. You see the sun. Actually, where is it? Over there. There it is. That was the diamonds on the water, when the sun shines on the water in that way. And I was out sailing in this little sunfish, and it was the most beautiful day. The wind was up, and it was just nothing sweeter in this beautiful cove. And I start playing on the side of the boat, something funky, right? Want to thank you for letting me be myself again. So it was probably inspired by that. And then, well, let me sing you a sea song, holy, while the waves roll and rock you to sleep. So it was like,
nice.
I started with thank you for letting me by myself, and all of a sudden it turned into this whole other jam, which it's not that song at all, but that's how music inspires.
Yes, I was catching a lot of like Steve Winwood and Ray Charles there through that. A lot of nice funky.
I
rhythms.
I have a jazz background for a lot. I love to sing jazz as well, and I've done like the jazzy lounge lizard gig.
Yeah. And those were all originals that you played.
Today I played all originals. Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I really had this thought I was going to do the water theme, and I messed up. I didn't play Earth Child. I should have done that, but that's all right. I'm an Earth Child, baby.
Absolutely. The water theme, you just now referenced it, making it sound like it was deliberate, but it's pretty pervasive throughout all of your music in general.
Yeah.
Or do you have environmental themes as an overarching musical influence, and water is just one of them?
I think that really I love, like, if I'm doing anything, it's generally by the water, and I have such a love. I mean, actually, these pictures I took, except for the Marjorie Ryerson one, but like this one, I go kayaking. I actually have a sailboat that fits in my minivan so that I can do it myself, and I go sailing on the little, and
Nice.
Not all the songs are water, like it's love and water, I guess.
Right.
Love, life, and Covered Bridge just happened to be by the water, but
And there's a lyric in Covered Bridge, and I don't know exactly, but it's referencing self-identity. Tell me the lyric that I'm forgetting right now. That
nobody knows the way I'm feeling.
Right. Talk to that a little bit.
Well, like we are all players on a stage, right? I think teachers, especially recently, I can't let the kids know how I'm really feeling, although that's really hard. But I don't think like nurses, essential workers, they can't, they might be feeling awful, but their job is to help the sick, And so me as a teacher, my heart might be breaking, but I got to keep it together,
That totally reinforces a social media meme I read probably an hour ago. Keep in mind that essential workers, nurses, hospital workers are strong right now, but when they go home, they break down just like all of us.
Of course.
But they are, be supportive of these people.
Yeah.
More than anything, and teachers too. Seems like, as we talk about the political nature of the, compassion and empathy. A lot of that is not being extended to people who need it most, who are doing the hard work, like teachers. Mm-hmm. Where do you teach, and what brought you to teaching?
I was going to say, I teach in the area.
Yeah.
But I love kids. I love music. Yeah. It's not that easy. There's people who don't like music. Shocking. And there's kids parents who haven't sung to their children. And so, and it's admittedly, when you sing, you're bearing your soul in a lot of ways. So an amazing gift when you can break through that. But I'm not naive to think that it's not difficult. But, what's really been hard as like the COVID thing, we can't sing with our kids. We're not allowed to share instruments. We can't play recorders. The fourth graders can't play the recorders. That's been really hard. And not being able to use, like I have these beautiful music rooms, and not being able to, go and use them because the kids are staying in their rooms. So it's a challenge,
Do you see an evolution of the way both students and performers, musical musically talented people are reacting to COVID. I think of like personal keyboards at home for kids.
I'm sending out a big shout out for all the musicians who are struggling through this.
Yep.
You know, they talk about the gig workers, right? You know, of course.
The gig economy.
And gosh, I mean, I've had a hard time just because, you know, I just moved to Vermont the last few years, so I don't have a huge tight-knit group. I have a nice group, but like, you know, like I used to go out every weekend to see live music, to dance and to support that art and creation. And then it stopped, and it's like, oh my God, the first quarantine, it was rough, like, because, you know, this is what we have to do. We find things to fill our hearts, right? And so not having live music, I feel for all the musicians and the restaurants, all the gig workers of any kind with what's going on. And I really hope that the wealthy in our nation, the 1%, you know, let loose of a little bit of, you know, those tax breaks they're getting and start taking care of the people.
Yeah.
You know,
could not agree with you more.
Yeah, you know, we got to put the money where it belongs in the hands of an equal place and respect the earth, take care of each other, take care of our sick. Yeah. We're having a pandemic, and we don't have universal health care.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Is this a time maybe to get universal health care?
Yeah.
Anyone? You know, people are dying. People are sick in hospitals, out of work and we almost had it here in Vermont, at least basic primary care, right. And they voted it down. Why, Vermont? Do you keep voting against yourselves? I moved here. I love you, Vermont. Why do I see so many people with rotting teeth? Our infrastructure, our roads, we got to step up and you know, lift each other up. And this is like the biggest thing. I'm tired of people being silent. Yeah. It is okay to take care of those kids down the street with your tax dollars who need health care. It is okay to care for the people who are not working, because it comes around. When you lift everyone up, everyone will lift each other up. I'm so tired. It's just greed.
I would even push it further and say it's not just okay, it's required.
It's required.
I want to say to those new, you know, we are experiencing a huge influx into Vermont of mostly very wealthy people.
Please take care of it.
And the back to the landers in the 60s and 70s that came to Vermont came here and assimilated and in some ways enriched Vermont values. Mm-hmm. Since the 80s, it's been more about second homes and wealthier folks. Yeah. And right now more than ever, I would appeal to those folks who are moving to Vermont to pay attention to Vermont. Don't try to change it in any way that you don't, emotionally appreciate. You and pay attention to your neighbors, and that's what makes Vermont.
Well, and of course the vineyard is a whole different ball game, and you know, but I will say that one of the things I was impressed with was these 1%ers. There were, when they bought a new house, there was a land bank fee for, if it was a second house, there was a percentage that went to conservation. You know, there's no reason that these wealthy situations are not supporting the communities that they're in. They need to in a better way. Right. And it could be such a way that, gosh, I mean, what pride? What kind of pride?
Right.
Wouldn't that lift people's hearts?
Yeah.
Well,
and a lot of those, like, back to the landers that came here, were instrumental in Act 250 in Vermont. A lot of developers hate Act 250. I get that. It is a lot of bureaucracy. But on the other hand, it has really protected a lot of Vermont. The Vermont Land Trust has been a pretty big force as well. We have Green Mountain National Forest.
We got to get to the water, though.
Yes.
Champlain.
Yeah.
Someone tell me why Burlington, the sewage. Oh, oops, the sewage went into the harbor again. Oops, we did it again. Whoops.
Yeah.
Why farmers, I mean, I've been smelling the rivers. The rivers smell like manure.
Yeah.
It's not okay. We
Yeah.
want our children not to get sick when they swim in the rivers, and Champlain has got to be cleaned up. Burlington has got to do a better job of cleaning up the water. Yeah. People need to make concessions and stop putting toxic chemicals on your lawns. Yeah. Vermont is beautiful.
Or don't have lawns. Let it grow a little wild.
Let it grow. I got to tell you, I have a patch in my backyard where I wouldn't let them mow. And these amazing kind of, almost like mulleins. Well, there were some mulleins, but this, I don't know what this was, but this whole bushy flower just took over. And because I let it grow, as big as this stage area, I had I believe it was the yellow finch in there eating on those flowers. And they have been fed and survived. First of all, the bees that we need, our pollinators, filled those bushes up. The birds, I had a water feeder there, but even now, when we've already had our first snow, the birds are still eating off those bushes, still now. All summer, they fed off the bugs and the flowers, and even now, there's still food coming off that.
Yeah.
And we have to simplify, stop putting so many chemicals, stop fertilizing everything because it runs off into the water.
Right.
Kills the fish. You guys are outdoorsmen. You love fishing. I love the earth. I'll go fishing too. We got to protect the water. Yeah, you name it. But flowers just left to grow on their own feed the beautiful birds that we can enjoy.
It brings me back to college literature classes where you're learning about books that have a theme of man versus nature, and that very construct itself, man versus nature, and that's a man-made construct. Why does it have to be that way? And why are we even debating? Why are we even debating this as
I just watched some of that movie. Woody Harrelson is in it. Something like Soil in the Sky, or there's a movie on Netflix, and I was half asleep. It's talking about the French have a fix. They have a literal. It's not even just the French. It's unilateral, different countries. But I was just watching and listened partly. It's something Soil in the Sky or something anyway. Woody Harrelson's in it. Check it out. The carbon, right? The biggest problem in our overheating and in climate change is the carbon, right?
Sure.
And one of the biggest factors is all these factory farms, especially in the Midwest, that are tilling and just putting Roundup and just like the soil is dead of microbes. Mm-hmm. And it's just the most amazing movie. Shows the farmers have no clue about real soil structure. And it's about permaculture and bringing the green. Like, just even the most easiest example is my yard in the spring is the most lush, most beautiful green, like gorgeous lawn. And then it gets hot, and like the neighbor didn't know, but he mowed it too short. And then it died, and it was a desert.
Right.
You gotta leave it. You gotta let things grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let those plants and everything feeds it. For the grasshoppers, they take a poop and they fertilize it. You don't need to chop it all down.
Yeah. When that became
amazing.
acceptable, I don't know. It probably coincident with the with the acceptance of people being ignorant in America. I'm not sure. 50 years ago, we were trying to, grow industry, and so we made a lot of rationalizations, a lot of excuses
the
to
Dust Bowl,
dumb
anyone?
down education, start subsidizing agriculture, get away from natural processes.
I think of it like this, not only as our food, like our main food sources are being sprayed with chemicals. Our education is being cut financially. Our health care, we're being told that we don't deserve universal health care. Like, I'm sorry, America's not great anymore compared to Europe. Like, all of Europe has health care, free health care. England, all these places. We're like the last. And I'll tell you, it's the companies who, don't let them think it's okay. You know, we need to take care of each other. We have the ability to take care of each other. And it starts with health, clean water, healthy food, taking care of families, working families and children. It's as simple as that.
Right. So your song, I don't remember the title of it, but after the storm, there will be a rainbow. Obviously,
That's so fun.
there's hope.
Well, that I didn't give the whole story to that. I always forget because life has been crazy. But the hurricane where New York got taken out, and New Jersey, and what was that
Not
hurricane?
Irene. It was after Irene. It was that same year, though. Later it was 2011.
Yes, it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went down with my good friend Rainbow Robin, and we drove down to, I forget, it was part of New Jersey, and it was right on the coast, and I can't remember the exact town, but basically the power was out and been out for weeks, and we went and just kind of volunteered in one of the kitchens because there was some folks who know the Rainbow family. Some people love it or whatever, but there's always these kitchens. And at disasters, like some of these hurricanes, they've been going down and setting up kitchens and feeding people. And we're part of that in a way of just making music and then working in the kitchen. And on the way back, it was just a weekend just to go and help out. There was a rainbow, and so that's where the beginning of the song came from. So the storm came, the hurricane that really messed people up, families without heat and hot water, and snowing, and just kind of going and helping. And I will say, a lot of us are struggling with depression and isolation from quarantine, and I just got to remind people that, and I remind myself at the same time, the true antidote to sorrow, loneliness, is helping others and finding any way to go out and help others. You're depressed, you're down, go help others, and your heart will lift. It's
Yeah, I always tell the story about my 40th birthday. I don't really remember anything else that I got, but the one gift that I do remember is driving home from work from Montpelier down to Randolph, and seeing, before I got on the interstate at a crossroads, somebody's purse, evidently. And I stopped and I picked it up, and I didn't steal the money or anything. I called the person.
It was all in.
And the kind of gratitude that that flooded me for just making that move and delivering that the next day was the strongest birthday present I ever received. And it was coincident. It's that same year a fire had taken out an apartment building across the street here in Randolph, and we used our own porch to, pull all the donations from the community to help these three families, and those experiences just really made me kind of wake up to. I mean, I've always been compassionate, but it's just so valuable what you just said. Those are just two examples.
I tell you, as someone who almost died in a fire, and that actually took my stepfather that raised me.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
It was the people who came afterwards to help that renewed my faith in humanity. And, life is not without suffering, but you feel the joy even so much more when you experience these things. And it really you just touched on that. When you give, there's such a more deep place you reach in your heart, and no matter what it is, it's about your community, who is close to you, So yeah,
Not
I
about
resonate.
things at
Yeah.
all.
No, which
about-
which makes me think of my proudest moment is that people are familiar with the Standing Rock protests that were happening about the pipeline they were trying to put under the drinking water of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and the news media was just showing images of these, oil industry hired cops, basically. Or thugs would be more accurate. I saw images of pregnant women having attack dogs on, and all they're doing is singing
I can remember
and
some
praying.
of that terrible footage.
And I was on the vineyard, and one of my good friends that I'd been playing music with was elder of the Wampanoag tribe, Carol Vandal. And we were just watching it together, and we're like, we were playing music, and I was like, we have to do something. We have to. And so we got together a concert, and James Taylor's sister was part of it, Sally, and Kate Taylor, I should say, and too much.
Because Sally's his daughter, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And was there, but the Wampanoag tribe has a group called the Blackbrook Singers, and they play beautiful drums and chant. And it was the first time that the Islanders and the Wampanoag people of the tribe actually put together something for the common good, and especially for the water protectors. And we, gosh darn it, we raised $10,000
Right on.
to help the lawyer fees and everything, because it's time people put their money where their mouth is, and fight against.
Yeah.
Not only is it pollution, but it was outright racism. We're going to move away from the town, and we're going to put it under the tribe's water. Not only that, millions of people rely on that water.
Yeah, all these rationalizations.
Let's put oil pipes under water systems that we drink.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's great, America. No, that's stupid.
Well, yeah, that short-term profit motive, and
Profit,
all the lawyers,
profit.
all the lawyers
Yes.
that are hired to craft language to create rationalizations to go against their gut, and the big money that is not in service of society.
Right.
I'm going to go to your rainbow metaphor again, and choose to believe that we are going to come out on the other side of this a different kind of culture in America, I hope.
Yeah.
Do you think we can, you mentioned Marjorie Ryerson. I know
yeah.
Marjorie, and Vincent here
Yay.
knows Marjorie very well. Hi, Marjorie, if you're watching. Thank you for all you do. She did a beautiful book called Water Music about 15 years ago.
That's what that image is from, Water Music.
Yeah, and she was able to enlist all kinds of huge global musical people.
It's so funny. We're like neighbors, and so we've connected in this way as well.
And I've tried to encourage her to do another one for Lake Champlain. Huge effort, but I don't know. There's something there. I hadn't met you before today, but didn't know you knew Marjorie. But
I actually also the year before, a friend of mine runs charters out on his 27-foot yacht, so I would help him sail out there on Champlain, and I can't tell you, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. We have to protect it.
Really needs to be protected.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I would ask what's next. I asked you before the interview. Are you going to be able to? You come back here and do some live stream work? Are you able to do any more performances?
I still need to record an album that actually, it's been a long time. I mean, I've done work with CDs, but life kind of pulls us in different directions, and so my hope is to get an actual album out. I have one of original music. It's called Light. But it's not anywhere that you can buy it. So I just need to get all this stuff and put out. It's a lot of music the business side has not been my forte, as a lot of artists often say. But
Well, you certainly represent music in a huge way. From the mask, which I don't know if folks can see, it's all musical notes on that mask. If you get in there, check that out, which is fantastic. And as a teacher and as an environmentalist, you're doing it, and I can't encourage you more than to put out the new album and work with everybody else who's like-minded this way, and let's do a fundraiser. Let's do a water.
I would love that.
I would absolutely love that for Vermont too. I think there's just so many like-minded people, and there are a lot of people coming into Vermont with deep pockets, of course, and we want your involvement as well, and anybody who cares about the environment in Vermont. I would put the call out now to start helping us think about something in the spring, and put something together.
I like that. I'm all about it, because how boring life is when we don't come together for good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Thank you so much. It was a great performance, and I really appreciate talking to you. And
you as well.
And thanks to Vincent Freeman and the Underground, and for everything that you do here as well. Thank you, Melanie. Blackbird, which I should mention, you had told me earlier.
Oh, right.
Sroka is a word for magpie, which is a singing.
That's right. It's Polish. Yep. So Blackbird is actually a bird. Sroka is actually a bird in Poland. It's more like a magpie, and that's where the blackbird comes from.
Yeah.
So
great. Well, we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.